You might hear from politicians soon because both sides here in Tennessee are seeing a shift in this year's election compared to just a few years ago. Here's News 2's Adam Mincer.
Tennesseans are already casting their ballots, and with 20 days until the election, candidates are hoping to motivate voters to continue to turn out with endorsements.
Andy is running against a far-left extremist named Heidi Campbell, who's a disaster.
And attacks.
My opponent likes to argue.
We're at war. Political war, cultural war, spiritual war.
I like results.
After 3 cycles of high-profile Senate, gubernatorial, and presidential elections, the chair of the Tennessee Republican Party says this year is like...
The air is let out of the balloon. When I talk to several of our friends and they say, well, is early voting starting? And you're like, yes.
And fears of complacency are bipartisan. Day one early voting numbers across the state are down by more than 51%. And voter registration didn't go up this year like it did in 2018.
Right now, it's all about ground game. It's about how we mobilize and turn out our voters.
You will see some of the Republican advertising really kick in over the next 3 weeks.
Republicans and Democrats say they're focused on issues like the economy and telling voters how the other side will take Tennessee in the wrong direction.
We're highlighting those fringe and radical policies that this Republican supermajority has applied on the state.
What's at stake here is the future of our nation.
And it's not just debates about policy. There are even debates about debates. Governor Bill Lee's Democratic opponent, Dr. Jason Martin, implied Lee is scared to debate him, while Lee says...
most focused on being the governor right now.
Because they know getting voters motivated can sometimes be harder to do than defeating their political opponents. Early voting runs until November 3rd, and when and where you can vote depends on where you live. But generally, these polls are open from 8 until about 4:30 or 5 on weekdays and Saturdays. Election Day is November 8th.